enter the childhood home of our most brutal mass murderer.
The home has been rigged up with several cameras, but for the most part, the audience will see only what you see.
Let the dangertainment begin.
Oh, that's right, folks. It's me. It's the THC-DOGG back with the I to the double ZY, Mr. Izzy High, and this is WMW Rezin. What is going on, my man? How is everything in your neck of the woods?
Man, I am so blessed. We got gathering fever around the house here, man. There's stuff packed by my front door. Everything from Gatorade to water to munchies, you name it. It's sitting beside my front door right now. As I said, gathering fever going on here at the house. So
nice.
Countdown is on.
Gatorade, or as someone who forgot what it was called, I read this the other day, called it alligator water. And now everybody wants to, like, everybody they know is now calling it alligator water. So right on. Sometimes that happens.
It was originally, if I remember correctly, created by the Florida Gator team or people involved with the Florida Gator team.
Absolutely. Wow. Because anybody who has spent any kind of time in Florida, especially during the summer, knows that the air, knows that the weather and everything just sucks the fucking life out of you, and it takes all of your liquid and all of your electrolytes and all of that stuff. It just sucks them right through your pores, folks. So yeah, they were pretty clever. They found a way to get a thing going. They sort of designing this beverage, and it worked out pretty well for them. It worked out very well for the folks at Gatorade. And they're doing all right. They're doing all right. They sell a few bottles from what I understand. So what'd you get up to this week, my man?
Oh, as I said, man, we're stocking up right now. Real quick, I want to tell everybody who is also dealing with gathering fever and going to be traveling out towards the gathering. If you make that side trip here into Michigan and decide you want to stock up, head over to the Flower Bowl. Visit El Gigante. Great name, huh? This gimmick's really over, El Gigante. But anyhow, go see the giant. You tell them that we sent you. And if you're on your way to the gathering, their first time visit, 30% off right off the top. And as I said, if you want some free weed, fill out a review for Google while you're standing there, and they'll give you a free pre-roll. Mention us again, 30% off your first visit. And again, visit El Gigante, the giant, and tell him we sent you.
All right. And that is the Flower Bowl. And we certainly appreciate what it is that those folks do over there. I'm looking forward to eventually I'll be up in your neck of the woods. And I'm going to be traveling a lot next year. I just got this feeling because things went, let me tell you, I had a plan last week. I was supposed to be in North Carolina. For the gathering, the T-Mart gathering.
Right.
Now, the reason we were going was that we were getting ready to launch 2 books. The first was this one, and this is the paperback cover, which is available now. In a couple hours, will be available everywhere books are sold online: Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we launched that book in a special collector's cover edition that was done featuring art by Sin Bodhi. And if you guys haven't seen Sin's work, be sure to check him out, man. He's an interesting cat. So we were launching Bill's book, and then we were also launching Robin Smith's book. Now the plan was the co-author and I were going to drive down to North Carolina. I was going to get together with Bill, help him get the book out and everything. And Bobby was going to be working with Robin because they co-wrote her book.
Right.
Like 2 days before the show, we get a message from Robin, who fell off a ladder while at work and broke her heel, which I cannot imagine is any kind of pain that I would ever want to have to deal with. I mean, I've broken toes, I've broken my foot, but the heel, I have to imagine, is a whole unique kind of pain and suffering there. So mad scramble happens at that point because, you know, she was advertised to be there. We had advertised that we were going to be launching the book. So I ended up staying here and working on some other stuff. She went out with Robin's book. And the buzz was instantaneous. She got to meet Bill Apter, which as a writer is a great person to fucking meet, you know, in this industry. Lots of hype, lots of buzz. She went out there. She signed a bunch of contracts with folks. So we've got a bunch more wrestling books in the pipeline after this weekend, and everything went very well. And Bill sold out of his book. Bill was there from Thursday to Sunday. He sold out of his books Thursday night.
That's awesome.
So he's got more coming. Actually, I'm expecting a drop shipment of those today. And now the paperback will be available. My guess would be later today or tomorrow on Amazon, and then over the weekend on everywhere else. So be sure to check those out, folks, if you are into wrestling. Obviously, you're into wrestling to a certain extent because you're listening to us. So it went very, very well. Big success, new and interesting projects coming out of it, and very, very excited about that. And on top of that, you saw the commercial. You saw the commercial, right, for our debut for the streaming service. That'll be coming up next week.
Do you have that commercial handy?
Give me a minute, and I can.
I'll tell you, I announced it on my page. I know you announced it on your page. It's something really exciting for the both of us, being on a new streaming service. And why don't you show everybody if we have it available?
Yep, got it right here.
The following announcement has been paid for.
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport. The biggest match in pro wrestling history.
Okay. Oh, I got it. This is better. Last words. I dig music. Woo! I'm on drugs!
As the biggest night in the history of this great organization.
And folks, all right, so that is the East Coast USA television streaming channel. It is available on all of your little devices there, Kindle Fires, Roku's, Amazon, Apple TV. It's everywhere. So the brand is growing. Their brand is growing. Our brand is growing. We were working together. We've got that show coming out. I've got I've got 2 more shows that we're developing. And our movie will be coming out on there as well. So be sure to check that out, folks. It's not Yakuza, which I thought it was. The first time I heard it, I'm like, this is not. Wait, no, not Yakuza. I don't want to be involved with the Yakuza. Nothing against them, but not my line of work. It's East Coast USA TV. Be sure to check that out, folks. You can get it on all your devices, and there's some great content up there already. And we're going to be rolling out new stuff. over the next 6 months, there's going to be a lot of premieres. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. So be sure to check them out. And it's going to be fun to keep doing what we're doing. And, obviously this is our home here on YouTube. We're always going to be here on YouTube first. But, we will be debuting, like kind of like what they do now with a lot of the streaming services, where they'll air it live on the Monday and then it goes to streaming on Tuesday. So it'll be probably something like that, where we'll always be here in our home, on our home in YouTube. But then the day after, or couple days after, new episodes will be available for streaming. So very excited about that. A great group of folks over there, very creative, very passionate about what they do. So it's kind of a mitzvah really for us, to borrow from my Jewish brethren. It's everybody comes together, works out, timing, we all grow together. And to me, that's the whole game. It's like, let's do something that we can all benefit from. And something like this, them growing their channel, us helping them grow their channel while we're growing our channel. It's a non-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a good place to start. And you never know who's watching. And that's the most important thing, is you never know who's watching, because sometimes, you could have some big TV CEO guy somewhere watching and being like, oh, I mean, it's kind of like what happened with Wayne's World, in the Wayne's World movie. Like they happen to sit be watching it.
Right. But in reality, as long as you are watching, that's all that matters to us. We're really happy to have I don't worry about who's not watching. I'd rather focus on who is, and we're really happy to have everybody who is here. So thank you.
Yes, indeed.
We really, really appreciate you following along and seeing the growth of this. I mean, wow, we've only just begun. And,
oh man, I can't even tell you how crazy. Like we're right there. We're right there. We're just waiting, and it's one more thing, and then boom. So we're going to be good in there. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Come on, come on, to the circus bazaar. If you're into paranormal stunts and supernatural sideshow freaks, then step this way and witness another world circus. You think I'm more than a man, and put him in control. Watch him become a god. Watch people's heads roll.
All right. It is true, folks. Mr. Sin Bodhi and I have been talking for several weeks now. We're putting together a number of projects, an autobiography, perhaps a comic book. We've got some interesting stuff. We're having some interesting conversations. So I got out again this, well, I guess it was last week at this point. Got out of the house again, which is always nice. And we went to the movies, which is twice in like a month, which is a pretty big deal for me. And we went to see the new Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
Now, I have never been, I'm a comic guy. I've been a comic guy my whole life. Never a huge Fantastic Four fan, though. Just, respect the characters, respect the history, where they lie in the legacy of Marvel's history. But was never the biggest fan of theirs. But I will say this, the new movie, it's fun. It definitely, it takes place in the 60s, and you can tell the way they made it feel, it feels right, so that was a pleasant surprise. A lot of people bitching, took a big drop in the box office on the second weekend. But it was for me, it was definitely worth the 2 hours. I enjoyed it a great deal. I thought the casting was done very well. That Galactus, I found out that the Galactus suit was actually practical. for parts of the movie. So there was somebody walking around in that thing, which is fucking crazy. So, if you guys are not, and a lot of people are like, oh, superhero fatigue, they're burned out because we got that. I still haven't seen Superman, although I've heard good things about that. But I liked it. It's the first time in a long time I was really kind of excited for a new Marvel movie, and they did all right. They did all right. Now, I don't know. What are your thoughts on King of the Hill?
Excuse me. I enjoyed King of the Hill. The funny thing with that is when I drank, I haven't had any alcohol. It's not my drinking problem was I could have one drink and I'd end up with a hangover.
Right.
So, but when I drank, I was the most amazing singer in the world. And so we'd go do karaoke, and my alter ego when doing karaoke's name was Rusty Shackelford.
Nice.
Taken from King of the Hill, because if I'm drinking, I don't want anybody to know my name. So
Very nice.
But yeah, I was a fan, am a fan, and I've seen that they had rebooted it.
Yes, the new season dropped on Monday on Hulu.
Okay.
They dropped the whole season all at once. It's 10 new episodes, and they did a remarkable job. I mean, the cast who was still with us, got back together during filming of the reboot. They lost a couple people. Johnny Hardwick passed away, and Toby Tuss passed away. He had voiced John Redcorn.
Right.
But they, most of the crew came back, and they did it. It's got a great feel to it. It picks up, I think it's 9 years later. And then Hank and Peggy have been living in Saudi Arabia, where Hank went to work, and now they've retired and they're come back to Arlen. And it's a whole. It does what King of the Hill always did well, in that it takes Hank and puts him in like that fish out of water scenario, where
Right.
things were happening and Hank just didn't understand. Well, now here we are, 15 years later, 12 years later, however many years it's been since the original show ended, and stuff like, cell phones and TikTok, and, so now it's Hank learning to live in this new world with this new technology. Bobby's grown up and he runs a restaurant. And so it's definitely, it was a lot of fun. They did a great job. The way they left it seems to me like there's going to be another season. Hopefully the ratings will support that. That's the weird thing. And I don't know, it's funny because during the 90s, the late 90s, during the Monday Night Wars, it was all about the ratings numbers. And we would every week we'd hear the ratings numbers. And with streaming, obviously it works differently. So we don't normally, they don't show us the numbers for streaming, but I would imagine there's probably a threshold. And if they get over that threshold, then they get approved for another season. I would imagine is how, but again, I don't know. We'll find out soon, I guess, because our show will be on a streaming service. So, not to make
algorithms, is that what they call that?
Yeah, the algorithm is, but we do what we do best. We hype what we do. We get excited about it. We spread the word. We have on great guests. We have, all kinds of stuff happening in our individual and our collective worlds. So there's always good stuff, and I don't think we're going to get lost in the shuffle when we join the streaming service. I think that we're going to be vocal. We're going to be out there, and I'll be at shows, you'll be doing stuff, and we'll be handing out oh, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. I think if we can, I don't know how the cell phone, or I don't know how the internet connection is in New Mexico where we're going, but it'd be even interesting to do a show, live when we're there at that event.
I think we'll be best just to record, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll record. But I want to go backwards a little bit as we were talking about animation, and you were talking about King of the Hill. I haven't had a chance to check that out yet. I am a fan, but the animations that I've checked out recently, and when I say recently, within the last 6 months would be
Right.
recently, I guess,
Right.
would be. Have you seen the Midnight Gospel?
I have not.
Oh, that's one that very psychedelic. Check it. It's the best way I can describe it is this guy has a podcast and he goes and he does his podcast in different universes.
Oh, right on.
And interviews different people in these different universes and he posts it up, and that's the name of his podcast is the Midnight Gospel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I watched that one, and then I was also into F is for Family with Bill Burr.
I like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Nope, I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, so those would be the ones that I've checked out recently and enjoyed. Yeah, F is for Family is loosely based on Bill's family life from the 60s and 70s.
Right on. Right on.
And a lot of fun.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. I'll have to check those out.
Yeah, Midnight Gospel is definitely a lot of fun. You'll dig that.
Nice. Nice. So as you guys know, we've been working on a movie for the last like 6 months, and film's done. It's cut.
Let me give my disclaimer real quick. He
Yes.
has been working on a movie. I cannot take any credit whatsoever. This is his project, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud of that guy right there. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So please tell us about your movie and achieving your goal and dream.
Well, the movie is called At Death's Door. The title, 3 of the 4 stories. It's an anthology. 3 of the 4 stories in it came from my first book of short fiction, and then the 4th story was a collaborative process. I gave birth to an idea. I worked with a writer. He developed it into a full script.
Right.
So my plan was originally was to do a short film, one story, get it out there, see what happens. And then as we were working on this, as I was developing this, I met a gentleman by the name of Frank Palangi. Yeah. And Frank's based out of New York, up the Glen Falls area, so kind of upstate New York, where Hacksaw Jim Duggan came from. And exactly. And we got to talking, and he was really into what he was reading and stuff. So I licensed him the options for the stories in the first book. And then he did the first short. He shot the first short, and he sent it over to me. And he's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "It's fucking great, man." And they aired it. It's been on YouTube for a couple of months now. And then finally, we wrapped everything up. Everything's cut. Final cut's done. We are going to be debuting the movie on several streaming platforms, including East Coast USA TV. And it was just a really interesting experience because I've always been a visual writer.
Right.
So to see my words that came from pictures in my head to words on a page to pictures on a screen has been very cool. I've been very lucky this year. I hooked up with Frank, and we did four shorts. I hooked up with another director, Wes Briscoe. He did an animated short based on one of my stories. I worked with, was it Brad? Yeah, I think it was Brad Case, who did another one of my short stories, into a short film. So I've been really fortunate in that I've been connecting the right stories with the right people. And all of the projects that we've done so far, I'm proud as hell to be involved with. The filmmakers, the animators, all those folks, they're top-notch people. You know, we talk a lot, you know, about the different thing, you know, about what do you think about that? What do you think about this? And for me, it's like most of my stuff, the horror that I write or wrote, not so much writing anymore, got other things going on. But I tend to lean towards the realistic,
Right.
over like the fantastical. You know, I love monsters. Don't get me wrong. You know, werewolves and vampires, and love all those guys. But for me, I tend to lean towards weird ass shit that can happen to actual people.
Right.
And so a lot of my stories are based on that. So when I'm writing, it's easy to take some of those stories and turn them into short films because you don't need much of a budget. You know, it's like there's one story that we did in the movie. It's about, you know, and basically it's a phone conversation between a serial killer and his mom.
Right.
You know, so budget was minimal. You know, couple of actors, one set or two sets, boom, done. You know, and it came out, people liked it, and so that's happening there.
But let me point out something though with that. How important it is to find your vibe. Okay. And what I mean by that is so many people fear taking that chance, fear going after it because they're not in their vibe. They're around people who are going to discourage. They're around people who don't have vision and don't have ideas. So a lot of that and a lot of the things that you accomplished was finding your vibe, and it was finding people that were on that vibe and that could help you find that vision. And I say that again because so many times such brilliant people aren't they don't go after it because they're not in their vibe. They're
Right.
I use the illustration of judging a fish for its ability to climb a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
They're around people with that mindset, and a lot of times people, they'll encourage you only so far because a lot of times people don't want to see you go any further than they might. So again, finding your vibe, finding your energy, finding people that feed that energy and feeding that vibe is such an important thing. And because of that, you're able to do this now. And that's, you know, the reason why I bring that up, because dreams are possible, man. And anybody that knows me, I have Dare to Dream tattooed down my spine because that's how much I believe in it, man. That's truly a motto of my life. So seeing you do that, I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a blueprint for people who might wonder, well, how can I do something like that? Well, the first part of it is getting into that vibe and finding that vibe, that energy for what it is, and finding people along the way that are in that same vibe.
Well, that's, you know, and that's exactly it. And it's something that I've been talking about for years and years and years because, you know, ideas, solid ideas that can be developed into further projects are never a problem for me. My brain goes 500 miles a minute, and I write down what I can remember to write down, and then the rest of them are lost to time. And sometimes it's a sentence, sometimes it's a title, you know, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean anything deeper than that at the moment. But I've also found that okay, let me put it like this. Well, okay. So, and I posted this yesterday, and it's an interesting question. 2 years I worked in horror, and pretty much all I did was publish indie horror.
Right.
And then I started meeting people. I met you, I met Gary, I met Bill, I met all the, you know, started meeting all these folks and started working on these different projects. And so basically in the 3 years I'm working with two different types of people. People like yourself who have done shit. You know, stuff worth talking about. Your life was full of of stories and what it was like for you to be involved in the business. And you know, I talk to a lot of actors and directors now, and they tell me about, you know, what it's like getting their movie made, and, you know, what it's like being offered this role or that role. I talk to, you know, athletes, you know, other athletes outside of wrestling, and they tell me about their struggles, you know, getting to the top of their game and all of that stuff. And then on the other hand is the indie horror writers. 99% of them don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. They've accomplished nothing. And the weird thing about it is, you would think that if either of the two groups was justified in having an ego, it would be the first group. The guys who have actually done shit, the people who have been on TV, the people who have traveled the world, the people who, you know, I mean, I'm doing books with people now that are recognizable, you know, like, oh, I know that guy, he was on this. Oh, I know that guy, he was on that. She was on this thing, and they were on this. Humble as can be. Humble. These writers who have done fuck all. It's like high school fucking lunch hour in the indie horror writing world. It's everything is fucking bullshit. Everything is, oh, well, if you don't like this person, or if you work with this person, I don't like this person, so I don't want to work with you. And it's like, you know, really, it's like I wasn't, like Marilyn Manson said, I wasn't born with enough middle fingers. And, you know, it drives me crazy because I expected, you know, and I, you know, and of all the true books, all the real life, the autobiographies, all of the books we've done so far, the books we're doing, there's one person who had a bit of an ego, and it wasn't even out of control, and he had a great sense of humor. So to me, the two kind of balance out. But everybody else, you guys just, you want to talk, you want to tell your stories, you want to, you know, and I love it. I fucking love it, man, because that's, you know, as a fan, as a wrestling fan, I've been watching wrestling since I was 8 years old. You know, I'm 49 now. You know, I've spent, you know, what you men and women do and did, it provided me with a lifetime of entertainment. So for me, it's a very humbling experience, because it's like, you guys lived, like, I knew early on I was never going to be in the ring. You know, that by the time I was old enough, I'd already been in a car accident. My back was fucked up. My knee was bad. My shoulders are bad. So, you know, in the ring was never going to happen. I knew that. And that's fine. You know, not everybody is destined to be in the ring. And I get that. You know, so now I do what I do because for me, it's my way to give back to you guys who just for years and years and years were on my TV, providing me, you know, crazy entertainment and stuff like that. So it's been a great experience because of the fact that there hasn't been any bullshit. There hasn't been any, you know, oh, well, I don't want to do this, right? And you, I mean, especially in the fucking world of wrestling, you know, you would think there would have been problems, but no. But with the fucking writing community, it's absolutely insane. So
let me give a few thoughts here. Let me take a step here. And this is just a few things off the top of my head. The really tough guy, he doesn't have to tell you he's really tough. Okay. He's not the guy standing in the corner bragging.
Right.
Anybody that's been in a real fight and done it for a while is not going to sit around and tell you about all the fights they've been in.
Right.
Okay, that's the real thought they were real until the real showed up.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And
nope. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
How many times, and we're in going into our 11th, I think, show of this. I don't think I've really talked about too much about me wrestling. I'm a wrestler, and I wrestled here, and I wrestled there, and damn it, you're gonna fucking pay attention to me because I'm a wrestler. No, I happen to wrestle. That was a vehicle to.
Absolutely. It is part of your story, not the entirety of your story.
And And I don't want that to be the only thing that, yeah.
Sure.
Because most of the time when you meet somebody, the first thing they're going to tell you is their occupation.
Right.
Hi, I'm Frank and I'm this kind of worker. And it's like, is there anything more to you than that? This is all you, this is the first thing you want to be judged by. And I've
Right.
noticed a lot of times in society, people will do that to you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, what do you do? Well, I'm a gypsy. What? Yeah, I'm all I ever wanted to be. So, what about it? It's,
Yeah.
so, in understanding that as well, um, again, it's a lot of times the people with the least amount of information are the loudest.
Oh, yeah.
And that means they're compensating for not having that information. And a lot
Well,
of times, if you sit back and you're quiet enough, they'll tell you exactly how little they know.
oh, yeah. They'll tell on themselves eventually. They always do.
Sure.
It's so funny to me because when I when I when I closed down the horror thing and I switched brands and everything, uh, people were like, "Oh, that's because he made all this money and he ran off with all these people's money." And I'm like, "Folks, let me tell you something. There is not now, nor was there then, nor will there ever be actually any real money made by an indie author. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm an indie author myself, but I published fucking 30 books last year in the horror genre. And everybody's like, "Oh, where's our money?" Motherfucker, I didn't make any money.
Well, the reality and the craziness is, and I'm going to hype just for a second.
Mm.
This gypsy is about to do it a whole different way. And when my book comes out, we're going to do a little bit of promoting the old fashioned medicine show way.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's time for Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show.
Come see Uncle Frank. Yeah.
And
That's it. And I've got some wonderful gypsies, and we're going to do something really special.
it's amazing to me because it's like the biggest problem is that and this is why I love working with actors and wrestlers and everything now, because the biggest problem that the indie writing world has is that the writers themselves, and I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking their ability to write. I'm not speaking in a negative way about their ability. I think their goals are unrealistic. But also, almost every single one of them at one point in time said to me something along the lines of, "I don't understand why I have to do podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. I just want to write."
Oh, that's because the whole world just knows Joe Blow from fucking Kokomo.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was what I would have to tell them. I'm like, "Look, nobody's going to buy your book if they don't know who you are. And you're not, if Stephen King puts out a book tomorrow, Stephen King doesn't have to say shit about that book."
Okay, let me illustrate real quick, okay? And this is the gypsy. And you and we haven't discussed any of this. We're calling this on the fly, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. And by the way, we're in the art room here at the house, okay? And this, when I decided to start doing music and things like that, I started to play on the streets. Why? Because nobody knows who the fuck I am. So you have things like this. Hold on, can we see this?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so in different places that I went, I would make and work within my ability.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
And wherever I went to play and whatnot, I would set these little silly things up. Wait a second, here's another one. Oh. See this?
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. And that's how you grab their attention. And it's something, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be, $100,000 marketing plan. It doesn't have to be, it can be something as simple as that. Go out and
I called it my Eat It Joe's advertising.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, back in the day when you watch cartoons, you'd always see the guy carrying the pillar and it said, "Eat it Joe's, eat it Joe's."
Yeah.
And with myself personally, okay, and this is going to be a little bit of my personal side here. I do not wear any advertising for any brand name at all.
Right.
Okay, and I'll explain why. And this is just a little bit of a bit, actually, but there's sluts and whores in this world. All right.
Yes.
And a lot of times people judge that on somebody's sexual fucking side and whatnot, not understanding the actual terms and whatnot of this. And what I mean by that is there are people that are paid to advertise for these companies.
Right.
They're paid to endorse these companies. All right. And they're paid a lot of money to do it. And just the same as showing that sign, when I'm out in public, who am I advertising for?
Yep. Exactly.
You know? And my time and my energy are very, very important as well.
Sure.
And understanding that you're a physical billboard. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's people that sometimes stand in line for hours for free to be physical billboards.
Oh, yeah.
For this or that brand. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is maybe you'll be walking down the street wearing that big brand name shirt and whatnot. And then when you'll hear somebody drive by and scream, "Slut!" Don't worry, that might be a whore that you just took their job.
That's true. That's true. So I was talking before about my buddy Frank. There's so many Franks now. I've got like 3 or 4 Franks and a couple of Kevins, and like the names are starting to wrap around. I'm like, wait, which? They're like, oh, did you speak to Kevin? And I'll be like, which one? So Frank Palangi, my director, actually prior to getting involved with me and what we're doing, actually did a series himself. So let's take a quick look at that.
Yourself what kind of person you are.
The military are taking people.
What is going on here? Are you even real?
Just because the whole world is going crazy doesn't mean we have to go crazy with it!
Yes, indeed. Echoes of Night. Frank is working right on the cusp of a new horror thing. Right. Amazingly gifted filmmaker, tremendous musician. He's the one that actually wrote the guitar riff that we use for our opening on the regular show. And just doing kind of different things. And then when him and I got together, it was like the clouds parted and the sun came out and was like, hey man, let's go. And in the last 6 months, we did the 4 shorts. We put together as the movie. We're working on some other projects, and I actually, for those of you at home who are of the older age group, closer to our age than the younger kids, may remember Liquid Television from MTV. Now, Liquid Television, for those of you not familiar, was on usually like late at, like right before Headbangers Ball, I think, like late at night on Saturdays, and it featured all kinds of different animation and music videos and weird little snippets of things, with now a bunch of artists who are pretty well known. But at the time, we're just kind of breaking into the industry. The biggest one to come out of it being Mike Judge, which is where Beavis and Butthead came from, was Liquid TV. Aeon Flux came from there.
I was getting ready to say Aeon Flux was, it was
Aeon Flux was there. The Adventures of Dog Boy. First time I ever heard the song "Hello Dad, I'm in Jail" by Was Not Was on an episode of Liquid TV. So the upside, the news is that I have been greenlit with the streaming service to produce a show of that very nature. So it's going to be a weird ass variety show with music videos and little short films and animators and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And we're going to do a half an hour show. And the best part about it is, in the beginning, is I know enough people and we've got enough material that we can start building the audience. So this way, it's not costing anybody any money. It's not costing any of the creators any money, because we're talking about stuff they've already done.
Right.
And, I'll produce it and edit it and all that stuff. So obviously that's not going to cost anything. So we'll be able to get our production cost next to nothing. And then as the show grows, as the brand grows, we start to get sponsorship money in. Now we have some money to make new stuff. But for the time being, the old stuff is perfectly fine. So, my buddy Wes, who runs Wicked Reels, has over 100 short animations that he's done over the years. Frank's got a few things under his belt. Brad's got, I've been very fortunate, like you were saying before, about finding people with the vibe. I've been very fortunate in finding the folks who get it, and I don't have to explain it to them. They just get it.
Right.
And, that's the whole thing. And as I was talking about before with the authors, I don't need to tell wrestlers how to go out and sell a product. You guys are pretty good at that. I don't have to tell actors how to go out and sell a product. It's what they do. So it's nice dealing with that, because I'd much rather be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what why we want to do.
Right.
What do you think? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. I'm like, then let's do it. So tomorrow night, for those of you who saw the ad at the start of the show, tomorrow night, we will be doing a special screening of Halloween Resurrection. It's going to be a very private, limited seating. And we'll be watching the film alongside Brad Laurie, who played Michael Myers in that film. He's the one that fights Busta Rhymes. And Brad's going to come on and watch the show with us, watch the movie with us, and then do some Q&A afterwards, get a little behind the scenes on Halloween Resurrection. So information is available on the website, or you can just hit me up directly on Facebook if you want to attend. But let me know soon, because seating is, like I said, quite limited. And so that's the plan for tomorrow night. And it'll be a good time. And then I just got paperwork back from Darren McGee, or McBee rather. My apologies, Darren. And Darren was an American Gladiator, an actor, stuntman, super nice guy. And he's ready to get down and do some stuff with us. So we're gathering a nice, healthy variety of talents, to work with and to collaborate and to bring, because you never know. That's the thing. I mean, every time I end up in a room with like 3 or 4 creative people, by the end of it, somebody's working on a project with somebody. It just seems the way that things go, because when you bring creative folks together, they get creative together. So
Steel sharpens steel, and as long as egos are checked at the door, magical things can happen.
And they absolutely are going to. We are on a roll, and I'm very, very excited about where we're headed, and I'm very excited about how this is going. The podcasts have been great, and we've got so many more things. Yeah, so many more things in the pipeline, folks. So be sure to stay, in tune with what we're doing. Check out the podcast. Check out thclimitless.com. We update there all our information. For those of you who were going to thcringside.com, that page is fine. It just redirects to the main page now because I realized that I didn't need to pay extra hosting for a website. I can just combine the two. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. I was kind of disappointed in myself, to be honest with you.
Pardon me. Shit. Before. Oh, they got me.
Uh-oh.
All right. Before we get out of here, if anything, through this episode, through this, a blueprint's been put out there. All right. If you're wondering how to do this, it's been put there.
Yep.
Right there, wide open to you. There's no, and let me give a little bit of, again, for a background and whatnot. I follow things like The Secret. Okay. And The Secret has so much to do with mindset and goals, setting goals. And a lot of times people treat their lives with less respect than they treat their car. Okay?
Right.
And what I mean by that is when they get in their car, they know exactly where they're going and they know exactly how they're going to get there. Because if not, they'd be wasting time and they'd be wasting gas. Two things that they could never get back once it's been given. All right. So again, having goals and using things again like The Secret, using things like stoicism that I use. I can only tell you the things that I use in my life personally.
Right.
And these are ways to set goals and accomplish goals and having goals because these things are so important. And that I can't explain that enough because when you're finally sitting on that hill, it's so much better to think, yeah, I did it, as opposed to I wish I would have. And my friend, I am so proud of you for seeing this dream through and seeing your dreams manifest. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater reward than seeing these things and being able to live vicariously because I'm doing that right now. I'm living vicariously through my co-hosts because I know how much things we've got in the works and I know what I've got in the works. And oh yeah.
It's going to be the rest of this year is going to be fucking fire, my friend. And then by the time we get into next year, we're going to be just operating on such a different level. And folks, here's the thing, if you're listening at home, your dreams are achievable. You might need help. You might need advice. You might need money. But they are achievable. Now, I've been very fortunate in working with the people I've been working with because we all understand that we're all in this together. If we do our jobs, we make money, everybody makes money, everybody's happy. So as far as the money thing goes, that I can't help a lot with right away. But if any of you folks out there want to, know how to get into podcasting or how to, want to write a book about, something or any of those things, man, you can always contact me. I can't guarantee anything, but I can, the one thing I can guarantee is advice. I've looked at so many books. I've looked at so many different projects over the last 3 years that I can kind of tell you. I'm like, okay, and I'm going to be honest with you. And that's the other thing too. What I say about stuff, it's not because I'm being a dick. It's because you want to put out your best product that you can. It's your name on the book. And that's the most important thing to remember. So if you're stuck, you need help, reach out to us, man. We're around. Like I said, I don't guarantee money, but I can always guarantee you at least, some solid advice and help you in any way I can. It's what we do. Our podcast here, we run 2 shows. We're always looking for ads. We're always looking for, new stuff to talk about, new writers, new people on the wrestling scene, new musicians, whatever the case may be. So, feel free to reach out to us. If we dig what you do, then, hey, you never know what's going to happen. So that being the case, we are going to call it a day here for this week's episode of Rezin. And like I said, tomorrow night, Thursday, August the 7th. I wish it was October. August the 7th. Join us at, go to thelimitless.com and check out the details for this viewing tomorrow night of Halloween Resurrection. We'll be back on Sunday with our normal crazy lunatic things that we do. And then you are off to the gathering, my friend, and that's going to be terribly exciting. We'll be expecting reports when you get back. And we're going to go ahead and go out on this last ad. So, folks, again, thank you for joining us. If you need anything ever, feel free to hit us up. We're always happy to help in any way that we can. Don't come looking for money because I don't have any of that. But anything else I can do, more than happy to. Yes, the American Kickboxer.
Yes, greatest tag team in the world, American Kickboxer and LEO Del Kickboxer.
All right, then. That's that's your kick-ass tag team there, man. Yeah. All righty. So this is our last ad break. We were talking about it before, my friends. This is the trailer for At Death's Door, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
How can ordinary choices bring you face to face with death?
It was really safe.
Felicia, it's okay. Felicia, it's okay!
Hello, Mother.
I think it's so amazing that you can reach people's deceased loved ones.
Well, some people have unfinished business, and that's why they stay.
Hi. I rented out the suite online.
Pull yourself together.
Bestie.
Will you dare to open the door?
You're all